We're on page 39, finishing up 5F, graphing linear inequalities. We've got 4 examples on this page, and it's not going to take us very long to do all 4 of them. They ask us to solve them by graphing. First thing we need to do is graph the line, and then we'll decide whether it's solid or dotted and which part of the coordinate plane we shade. In order to graph the line, we need this in slope-intercept form, so we're going to move stuff around here. We're going to add 3x to both sides, trying to get the y equals mx plus b form going, except we're not going to have an equal sign, we're going to have an inequality symbol. So 2y greater than 3x plus 12. One more step to get y alone, and we get y greater than 3/2 x plus 6. So now we're at a position where we can actually go plot the points with the slope and the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 6. And then our slope is positive, so we're going to rise from left to right. So I'm going to rise up 1, 2, 3, run 2. Kind of running off going that way, so now I'll go the other way. 1, 2, 3, run 2. 1, 2, 3, run 2. So if you've got a straight edge, you can go ahead, but before you make a big solid line through there, go back up and look at your inequality symbol. And no, I don't want my line to be solid, because we want all the points that are greater than, not greater than or equal to. So that means all of the points on this dotted line are not going to be part of our solution. So you can just draw a dotted line. This is easier for me to draw, obviously. You can draw a dashed dotted line, and now we need to decide which part of the coordinate plane we're going to shade. So again, the way I do it is I look at 0, 0. He's sitting right there. He's not on my target line. I'm going to go plug him in, and I'm going to say 2 times 0 minus 3 times 0. Is that really greater than 12? So 0 minus 0 is 0. Is 0 greater than 12? Not today. So that means that this point and all of the points in this part of the coordinate plane are not solutions, because they don't work when you plug them in, which must mean that all of the points above the dotted line are our solutions. And if you want to go back and look at your chart on page 38, it indeed says if you have a dashed line, if it's a greater than, it's dashed and you shade all the points above it. I think it's just as easy to pick 0, 0 and decide what's going on that way. Up to you. All right, let's do this one. This one is going to jog our memory a bit. Remember, and write this up at the top. With inequalities, you have to flip the sign when multiplying or dividing by a negative number, a negative coefficient. So let's look and see what happens here. We want the y alone. He's not alone. We're going to add x to both sides. We're left with minus 2y greater than or equal to x minus 8. And now we are dividing by a negative 2. We have to flip the sign. So we're going to divide every piece by negative 2, and we're flipping the sign. So we end up with y less than or equal to, and what is that, minus 1/2 to get the slope out of there, minus 1/2 x minus divided by minus is plus. There's our inequality. So we can graph it. We can go to the y-intercept, which is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our slope is negative. We're going to be falling from left to right. So we're going to go up 1 and over 2 this way. 1 over 2, 1 over 2. Now I'll go do a few more points in this quadrant. 1 over 2, 1 over 2. And now we have to decide, before we connect our points, is our line solid or is it dotted? So it's less than or equal to, so we need a solid line, and it's all the points on the line as well as the points that we're going to shade here in a minute. So our last step indeed is looking at which part of the coordinate plane are we going to shade. Here's my target point, 0, 0, right there. I'm going to plug him in, and I'm going to say, okay, 0, is that really less than or equal to minus 1/2 times 0, which wipes him out, is 0 less than 4? Yeah, he is. So this point and all the points on this part of the coordinate plane, including the points on the line, are solutions of this inequality. Let me just add a side note here. If, for instance, 0, 0 is a point on your line, to pick your point to decide which part to shade, just pick a point that's not on your line. Go over and pick, if 0, 0 were on my line, then I might pick 2, 0 or -6, 0 or some other point. But I usually do one with a coordinate of either the x or the y of 0 because it wipes out one of the terms. It makes it easier to see it quickly. 2 more. Of course, these are the special examples. They do not have both variables in the inequality. So if we are solving to get y alone, we get y greater than 5. So if you go and graph y equal to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there he is. We want a dotted line because there is no line underneath it. It's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. So we're going to draw our dotted line, horizontal. And now we have to decide which part of the graph are we going to shade. So again, if I go pick 0, 0, and I plug in 0 for y, I take the y value and I plug in 0, 0 greater than 5. No, it's not greater than 5. So all of the points above the horizontal line make this inequality true. And similarly, we've got a perfectly vertical line over here. You should recognize by now that an x equal or an x inequality symbol is going to be a vertical line. Let's get x alone, and we get x less than or equal to -1. Let's go to -1. It's right there. And we have to decide whether this is solid or dotted. It's solid because there is the line underneath the inequality symbol, which means all the points on the line are part of our solution. And now we have to decide which way we're going to shade. So again, I'll go to 0, 0. I'll use the point 0, 0, but I'm only going to use the x value because that's the only thing that matters in this inequality. So 0 less than or equal to -1. Well, no, 0 is not less than -1. So it's going to be all the points on the other side of the line. And that is how we graph these inequalities. So we have one more page. This is 8 minutes in. Let me stop, and then you guys can come back, and we'll pick up page 40, and then we'll be done with 5F.